I think that two of the best characters in SpongeBob SquarePants are Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, and a lot of my favorite SpongeBob episodes are episodes about the two of them. I think that they really helped the early seasons, and I feel like they continued helping the seasons as they went along. Um, but Mermaid Man, Barnacle Boy haven't gotten much to do in recent years, sadly, due to the sad passing of Mermaid Man's voice actor Ernest Borgnine and Barnacle Boy's voice actor Tim Conway. I think that both of them did really good jobs. Lots of personality in their voices that really helped the duo feel very distinct. Where Merry Man and Barnacle Boy are a really good duo, and they're very distinct and different from each other, but they care about each other. And I feel like they were very much a duo where both of them were fantastic. Whereas I feel like sometimes sidekicks of superheroes can be a little bit forgettable and not as interesting. But I feel like Barnacle Boy felt like Mermaid Man's equal. I felt like they were pretty equally interesting in a lot of ways. And I do really miss them. And I would love it if they were still really prominent supporting characters in the show. I would love it if they got to have lead roles in episodes again. I think that would be great, but it is a very difficult situation. A lot of the charm of the characters did come from the voice actors, and it is important to honor their legacy, the importance that they had. So the question is, should Mermaid Man Barnacle Boy ever be recast? And I feel like it's not an easy answer to have, at least for the currently going main SpongeBob show. When franchises get rebooted, it makes sense. A new generation happening years later, it makes sense to have a new cast, but I feel like it's more difficult when it's the same show that's still going on, the same version. Is recasting characters okay? What's interesting is the Dirty Bubble. I think his original voice actor was Charles Nelson Riley, and I think that afterwards Tom Kenny took over for Man Ray. Used to be voiced by John Rhys Davies, and I think that Bob Jones is the actor that took over afterwards. So Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy's two big villains have been recast. So if they can be recast, can Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy be recast? I think that's interesting to think about. Where certain characters seems like, oh well, you can't recast them, but other characters, it's okay to recast them. I find that interesting. Um, and John Rhys Davies, I don't know why he didn't come back as Man Ray. I'm not sure if it was a money thing or if he was busy. I think that Charles Nelson Riley, the original voice actor for The Dirty Bubble, I think that he sadly passed away. Um, so if it's okay to recast him, wouldn't it be okay to recast Mermaid Man Barnacle Boy? I feel like that's at least a fair question to ask, and there could be an explanation that could make sense, but I feel like that's at least a fair thing to think about or ponder. Because if they have a rule that no character should be recast, I could understand that, but it seems weird where certain characters, it seems to be okay for them to be recast, but other characters can't be recast. I don't fully understand that, to be honest. Um, um, so, do I want Mermaid Man and Barnacle to recast, though? Um, it is a difficult question. It really is. I feel like if they could find really good voice actors that could do fantastic impressions of Ernest Borgnine and Tim Conway, they could do it in a way that could continue their legacy, and I feel like they could possibly do a featurette on a DVD release or something, talking about how important Ernest Borgnine and Tim Conway is. It's some sort of like big tribute or something, and constantly talk about their importance and how they'll always be important to the legacy of SpongeBob. I feel like there's ways of going about it. Um, but if Ernest Borgnine and Tim Conway, if they feel like they can never recast those two, uh, I do understand it to a certain degree. I just do think it is confusing where Charles Nelson Riley can be recast, but not Ernest Borgnine and Tim Conway. Um, so feel free to let me know how you feel about the subject. I feel like it was just a fair thing to at least bring up.